Okay, here we go. I'm gonna mix. Got clean hands. Nice little white doojingy. Here's your HCG. Right here. Whoop. Get it out of this little old thing. And you will notice that you have two different containers in here. This ampule says sodium chloride. You're just going to throw that away. This is your HCG here. Okay. Take this little orange cap off. Like that. And you got to get your bacteriostatic water. Okay. And if it's brand new to you, then you're probably going to have to take a lid off of that too, but you've got your rubber septum there, and you've got your ampule. Now you may have one that looks different from this, but as long as it's got a rubber septum up there, it's going to work. So we're going to take this little alcohol pad and we're going to swab the little rubber septum and swab this rubber septum. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the mixing needle, which is the big, or the mixing syringe, which is this big one here, and then we've got a nice needle here to put with it. We open him up and get him out, and then it just screws right on there. I hope are you able to, yeah, you're able to see all this. Okay. So it just screws on like that. And then you just pull off the syringe cover. Okay, now, here's the thing. Since you're going to be putting liquid in this vial, you need to take some of the air out because it's like, airtight in there. So we're going to be taking 8.5 milliliters. This is a 10 milliliter syringe. So we're going to be taking 8.5 milliliters of air out of here. And what you want to do, you see this, there's a little circle on there. Go just outside the circle with your syringe and poke it in there, because you're going to use the little spaces inside the circle. You're going to use those to withdraw your liquid with your injection syringe. So here we're going to take out 8.5. You got to hold on to it because it's going to tend to collapse back down to offset the pressure differential. Okay, so we've done that. Then we're going to also be removing 8.5 milliliters of liquid from this. So to deal with the pressure differential, you're going to actually put 8.5. Wait, let me think. Yeah. So you're going to put 8.5 milliliters. Take it up to, and you take it like each one is 2/10 of a milliliter. So you're going to take it back to 2/10, 4/10, and then in between the 4 and 5 is 8.5. Okay. So we're going to poke that just somewhere on the inside of the circle on the rubber septum, close to the edge of the circle. Just poke it in there, and then you're going to inject the air, and then you're going to flip it and just let go of the syringe, and it'll start filling itself up. Can you see that? It's filling itself up. And it may or may not fill itself all the way up. Make sure that your needle is below the level here, the level of the liquid. Okay, so now I'm going to take it the rest of the way because it didn't go all the way. So I'm going to take it the rest of the way down here. And if you go a little over, it's okay. Going under is not so good. In fact, you want to go over a little bit. Let's just go on and take it up to 9, because you will see that there's a little bit of air trapped in the end there. So then you flip him back over, pull him out. And then you kind of knock on him to make sure, like if there's a little air bubble, like there's one here, you just knock on that air bubble. Get him to move on up to the top. So when you can see the air up here, up in there, if you tilt it, you can see it even better. So you keep it straight up and down and start pushing the syringe real slowly to push the air out. Okay? And it'll push a little bit of liquid out too. Alright, so actually, so then we push a little more liquid out until we get down to the 8.5. Alright. Now, the next thing you want to do is take your little vial of HCG, and you can see the powder down, white powder down in there. Alright, let's see. I think what I want you to do is, I want you to go ahead and take your empty vial here, and again, poke it somewhere on the outside, because this is a really big needle. It's going to make a bit of a hole. I mean, the rubber septum will close, but anyway, you just go ahead and poke it in there, and then it will start to inject, the water in there by itself. But I'm going to ask you to just go ahead and inject all of that water in here. Okay. And when it's all in there, hold on to the vial, and then yank that sucker out, because a little bit of it will come out. Now, I want you to take your syringe, and I want you to make room in here for about a milliliter of water, or bacteriostatic water, that you're going to draw back out of there. So we're going to just poke this in here, and wait, a little bit of that metal needs to come off. Okay, we're going to poke that on the outside, because we're just going to be doing that to get the air out. Okay, so we poke it on in there, and then just draw out. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can draw out a couple of milliliters of air, and then when you've got it up there, hold on to it, because it's trying to close itself back down, so you got to hold that syringe plunger up, and then boop, pop it out. Alright, now I want you to just take this and stick it back in here again on the outside of that circle. Poke him in there, and then we're going to poke the air in there, flip him up, and let him fill this up a little bit here. Okay, so now we flip him back down now that it's filled up, and yank him out. Alright, now we're going to get the air out of that. Oh, goodness, come on now. You don't want to lose too much more of this, so let's see. All it's going to do is make your solution just a little more concentrated, but you don't want it too much. Alright, so now we've got it like that. We're going to poke this right down the center. And I want you to remember that the HCG molecule in that powder is a very delicate, large, delicate molecule. And so we want to do this gently. So I want you to hold the plunger so that it doesn't just dump the liquid in there like immediately. Okay? Alright, so it didn't do it, so we're good. So now, if you watch it through here, you can see what you're doing. So I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but you're going to just kind of tilt the syringe needle so that so as you're pushing very slowly on the plunger, because you don't want to shock those molecules in the powder, you're just going to let it drip in a little bit at a time, and and you might want to just like turn it around a little bit so that it's mixing it up a little bit. Just turn it around. and just watch it. And like if you can get it to the point where you can put the needle under the liquid level, that makes it even better for not shocking the molecules with the flow, water flow. Alright, so you just poke it in there and keep filling it up. Fill it up, fill it up. You don't have to put every bit in there, but this will hold most of it. Let me make sure. You got to keep pressure on this because it'll try to back itself back out. Just keep on slowly plunging it in there. Okay. And once you got it in there, you can see, you have to hold that plunger down, but you can see that the powder is dissolving, and you just want to roll it slowly and let the, that's the only way you're going to agitate. You're not going to shake it or anything. But you want to keep doing that until you see the little solid parts that are still clumped up in there, till you see those break up and dissolve, and they will. You just got to be patient. Continue to. This is like one of the most critical parts of what you're going to do here to mix. And see, a little at a time, I don't know if you can see this, but those little white chunks are starting to roll around in there, and the more they roll around, the more they break up, and the more they dissolve. And then you're going to have it all mixed in there. But you got to wait. Like, see, there's a big chunk still hanging in there. But if I just hold on to this thing, and yeah, it's a little tedious, but it's going to be worth it, I'm a-telling you. And you just keep on being persistent. And just keep on letting it. That one little chunk there is really being ornery. He's still right there, but he's smaller. He gets smaller every time we go around. So when I can't see him anymore, and I'm still holding my thumb down on the plunger so that this won't back up into the syringe yet. Alright, he's gone. It's all, I don't see anything in there now. So now I'm going to turn it up, and I'm going to slowly start letting go of the syringe, and it's going to start trying to fill itself back up with what's in your vial. Now, I want you to, position the vial so that you can see there's a little notch in the septum there that you can look through to see where your needle is. So you want the needle to actually end up way down there close to the edge of the septum, because you're going to want to drain every single bit out of there. Now, when it gets to the point where it's not